tuned in to the Cash Flow Show with Dave and Nate, the best place to navigate how to achieve capital appreciation with commercial acquisitions. Here's your hosts, Dave Seymour and Nathan Amaral.
And we are back for
Hey,
another.
buddy, how are you?
What's going
How
on?
are you?
You know, I was thinking about bringing these little like jingle bells on the show, like ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching,
Oh, we
ka-ching, you know?
should.
I should
We
have done
should.
that. I should
A
have
little
done
Santa
that.
flavor would have
Just
been
a little
good.
bit, maybe
Ding,
some
ding, ding,
snow,
ding,
some
ding,
snow
ding, ding,
fall.
ding,
Like
some snow. Oh,
I heard
yeah,
you
we-
got snow.
Dude, we didn't just get snow. We got slammed. We got like 18 inches of the crap.
18
I was on-
inches.
Yeah, I was on
Oh.
a partners meeting yesterday, and
Man.
you know, Walter's in Fort Myers.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, he's
and
living the
Eric-
life.
And Eric went down to visit his fiance's grandparents. And he's
Yeah.
working out
All right.
he's like 20 minutes from Walter. So
Oh, geez.
they're not giving me any love, buddy.
No.
No more than you would, I'm sure. You
No,
know,
exactly.
It's cold. It's 20 degrees and cold
Oh,
and
man.
cold.
That
You know
is
what I
not
started
fun.
doing though? Check
What?
this out,
Tell
right?
me.
Mary Beth is
Yeah.
obsessed, right, with the
With Rowie?
weather forecast, right?
Oh,
She wants to
okay.
know what's going on.
Okay.
So every morning she talks to the Alexa device and she says, you know, Alexa, give us the weather report.
Yeah.
And I got smart. See, what I do is you hear, you know, New England, minus 20 degrees. Everybody's freezing. It's going to be cold, and then it's going to be cold, and it's going to be cold. It's going to be cold.
Yeah.
So right after they finish with that, I
It's-
go, Alexa, give me the weather report for Fort Myers.
It's warm.
Myers, Florida.
80.
42 degrees. You're going to see sunshine all day today, going up to 67
Oh.
and 70 in some areas outside. Yeah. And then I just walk past Mary Beth and I smile at her. That's all I'm doing. I'm
Oh,
laying the
that-
seeds, man.
That's what it is.
You gotta do what you gotta do, right? You gotta get
Yeah.
it done for sure.
No, it's true. It's true, man. I don't envy the snow anymore. I really don't. I don't envy you there. I try to run away from the snow. Wherever there is snow
Yeah.
possibility, I run away from. For sure.
Yeah, look, man. I got thin skin now.
Yeah.
Plus, with all the rowing and the good eating I've been
The
doing. I don't have
rowing.
extra-
Are you still even rowing? Are you rowing?
No, I haven't rowed.
Oh
anymore.
my goodness.
Mary Beth's rowing, but I'm not eating like a Wally, so I'm still hanging in there. But I'm not
All
rowing
right.
as much as I was.
Oh
So
man.
we'll get there. We'll get there. You're going to see all the
That's good.
commercials over the next 2 weeks for you know, working out and fitness and all
So
of that
true.
stuff.
So true.
Everybody's New Year resolution,
That's
right?
so true. Apple Fitness actually just came out. Did you hear about that? Apple Fitness?
No. What do they do?
Yeah, right on your phone now. Just tap a few buttons. You can go to your health app and then you'll see Apple Fitness. And it's included in the Apple One program. I don't know if you're a part of Apple One. I highly recommend it. And you can get Apple Fitness and you can do all your exercises on the thing, on the, you know, TV, Apple TV on your phone, on your iPad.
You want to
Yeah.
hear something crazy?
What's
so
that?
we've been watching on Netflix with the boys. We've been watching Arrow, like DC Comics, Green Arrow.
Familiar,
Well, he's
yeah.
very muscular.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's got like a definite, defined six-pack.
Right.
And he can swing and do ninja stuff, and he's
Yeah.
all jacked up, right? He's like a mad machine.
Right.
Well, Bennett, my little guy, who's super skinny, decides he wants to look like the Arrow, so he's got his own workout routine now.
Oh, does he?
He said the other day, he goes, Dad, I want a six-pack abs. I go, buddy, you're like 8 years old. That's okay.
Yeah.
I said, why don't you go for 9? He goes, that's a good idea. And he's like counting out where his abs are going to go on his belly. We put him to bed the other night, regular bedtime, and his light was still on. And I find out he was in there
He's
doing push-ups, and sit-ups and
Oh
stuff.
man. Hey,
I
you
said
know,
to him, I said, look, here's the deal. I said, if you want me to get you a little gym, I can get a gym in the basement. I said, do you think your brother will want to do that as well? He goes, no. I go, why? He goes, he just wants to do computers, Dad, and code. He wants to be a coder.
oh,
I said, well, you know what's going to happen, right? He's going to get all the money, but
Yeah.
you're going to get all the honeys. That's the way it's going to I'm a terrible father. Terrible.
That's really
Wow.
funny.
What's that got to do with real estate? Nothing. Do the thing. do the thing. It's got nothing to do with real estate.
Welcome everyone to the Cash Flow Show. It's good to have you here. This is the place, the number one place. Did you know we're number one now? We're number one.
Yeah, we are.
And we're in more
feel it.
countries than we were last week. This is the place to learn about commercial acquisitions, where to put your money in these odd and crazy times. We are your hosts, Dave Seymour and Nathan Amaral. Welcome to the show. And if it's your first time here, throw some comments below. Let us know. Say hello. And if you have any questions, you can do the same. And it's been interesting out there. It's been interesting. Oh, speaking of interesting, they're coming for you. The police, they're coming for you.
Did you hear them? Yeah, they don't know where the office is yet. It's okay. I still got it covered. I tell you, there's an ambulance station up the street, and they're running like crazy. I remember when I worked in the fire department, we used to call this the silly season, man.
Yeah.
Because everybody just gets a little silly this time of year. You know what I mean?
It's the eggnog.
Everything is highlighted.
It's the eggnog. It's the eggnog.
What is eggnog? What is that? It's like custard cream with booze.
I think eggnog. No. Actually, I used to drink a lot of it when I was a kid. I think eggnog is eggs with milk and something else, maybe sugar. I really don't know. If someone knows what eggnog is, let us know in the comments.
All right, let us know. Look, yes, it's been silly out there. So I was, the title of the show this week was, do we flip or do we hold?
Flip or hold.
And I read an article this morning, actually, from Diana Olick, who is the real estate commentary type person on CNBC Network. I don't know what title to give her, right? But she pulled up some stats, and 2020 has been the year that the largest yield has been made on flipping properties.
Yeah.
Like more money has been made flipping homes this year than any other year. However, the fine print talks about the fact that there are dramatically fewer amounts of folks out there trying to flip houses. And it almost had like a disclaimer to this article saying, kind of like a buyer beware, if you will.
Okay.
In the sense of don't go into it lighthearted, go into it with reserves. And, my thought processes are this. It's, housing, as we've said before, has really pushed all the barriers. I mean, the prices that the properties are going for in the single family market are just straight up redonkulous. Low inventory, high demand, low interest rates, and all of that creates a, almost like a shadow market, if you will. I think of it in the sense of, we talked about the shadow inventory that was in place in 2008, 9, 10, right? The properties that had yet to come into the market.
Right.
And we're beginning to see some indications of that now with regard to the FHA loans that are in delinquency due to COVID, due to unemployment. And, should you flip a house right now? Now, here's what we're doing. I'll let you in on a little secret. If you went to Freedom Venture website, freedomventure.com, which is actually on the wall behind me over there, freedomventure.com. Right? If you actually went to that website, we have a new tab up there now that says Freedom Venture Homes, because we've got to a point where... is it up there? Can you see it up there? The blue one, FV Homes. Click on that tab there if you're playing around with it, Nate.
Yeah.
But on Freedom Venture Homes, what we've done is we've gone back to our roots of the single family. Basically, it's a landing page for distressed sellers and single family investors who are looking to have access to our database of single family homes. But at the same time, it's a service that we've put on steroids again for the single family homeowner in distress. We're beginning to see some pre-foreclosure action taking place. We're beginning to see indicators that are pointing us to the direction of, beware, it's coming again. Some of the statistics that I saw out there are pretty scary. One was unemployment in the education sector. I listened to the chairman of the Fed, Powell, did a live broadcast a couple of days ago, and they're pulling up a lot of the unemployment data. And when you dig deeper into the way that they get these statistics in the education sector, and I mean, teachers, collegiate, that kind of thing, their unemployment rate is higher than it was during the financial crisis. And not a lot of this data is getting out there. There's various ways of looking at unemployment data, from the 3% that was pre-COVID to the 6.5%, 7%, which is today. But when you dig a little deeper into how they run those numbers, some analysts are saying that the unemployment is still knocking around 9.5%. So you couple that with the foreclosure challenges that are beginning to rear their ugly heads. Luck is defined by preparedness meeting the opportunity, and it's very easy for us to turn that single family machine back on again. It doesn't even get my heart rate up to buy, fix, and flip a single family home. Yeah. But at the same time, what's nice is being able to offer pre-foreclosure, short sale services, things of that nature. So we've developed into a position of being an investment company that has a suite, if you will, of investment choices.
Right.
We're getting calls again. I've got money, put it to work.
Yeah. There's also there's also a lot of people who know you from your past, from the show,
sure.
And being on TV,
sure.
and I think this just gives that more. More people just coming to you saying, "Hey, Dave, can you help me out of this situation?"
Yeah.
And I like how you put that. You put it as like it's a suite. It's like people coming to you like you're an investment firm, and you can help people out in different situations.
Yeah. And going back to the financing options for buy, fix, and flip. You've got hard money, which is usually more expensive than a private lender.
True.
And a private lender is usually more expensive than the bank. So if the bank is lending at 3.5%. But the bank wants owner occupied, they don't like the investment strategy that's out there.
Right.
That takes you to the next place for financing, which is private equity. And anybody that that listens to our show, if you are sitting on capital that's lazy, go to Freedom Venture Investments. Go to that site, freedomventure.com. Go to Freedom Venture Homes. Put in your information there, and we'll show you how we can potentially offer 7, 8, 9, 10% on capital, depending on the deal. And that's a short-term hold. That's a 6-month, 1-year note where we put the private lender in a first lien position to be able to protect them. We do it just like a bank does with a note and a security document, a mortgage. Terms and conditions is all laid out. And it's a win-win in that single family world. So anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on that, Nate. Just to throw it out there. That, if it's got sticks and bricks attached to it, and there's an investment strategy that goes with it, we'll be doing it. So there's a lot of changes coming 2021, my friend.
Absolutely.
A lot of changes.
Yeah, and I also think it gives people the opportunity, sometimes, a lot of the deals that we talk about on a weekly basis, the deal of the week.
Yeah.
Some people may feel like, whoa, that's huge. Can I start off, can I start small? So some people want to start small. Some people have the capability. They can jump in and go bigger and let, Freedom Venture, manage the whole thing and get it done. So, it gives people the options, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's funny how you bring that up, because it's all about perception, right? I perceive this to be easy. I perceive this to be hard. This is expensive. This is cheap, right? Everybody's got their own DNA, their own business experience that they bring to the table.
Sure.
Whether it's accurate or not is always up for discussion. But what we've discovered recently is a lot of two things are happening. We have our buy box for the fund, which we've talked about consistently, right?
Yeah.
B-class properties,
right.
Certain MSA, various vacancies, targeted returns, et cetera, et cetera. But we also are beginning to see now a lot of properties that do not meet our buy box for our private equity fund.
Okay.
However, there's still great deals. Absolutely. And we don't want to let them go.
Right.
So what we did is to the point of a suite of investment offerings. For those that understand the term syndication, we are, in conjunction with the fund, we are now offering syndicated deals to our investor pool that allows investors to be in on one deal, and it gets a shorter term, if you will, 3 to 4 year term, or even shorter if we decide to do a cash out refi or refinance out the asset that's under contract that we take down. The benefits of the syndicated asset, shorter term, projected or targeted higher returns than the fund would offer, remembering that the fund is a 5 to 7 year hold, still double-digit targeted returns in the fund. But the syndicated assets that we're doing, they're what we call a value add. rather than a core plus. Core plus in the fund means core cash flow plus we can still reposition and make it more valuable. Value add means the cash flow might be a little weaker for the first maybe 2 distributions, but then after that, once we've finished all of the repositioning, then it brings in a larger targeted double-digit return. So it's giving the investors choices, which is what a lot of them are asking for when we interact with them.
Right. So basically, what would be the difference though? Because you mentioned syndication compared to maybe prior conversations where we've had people, ask or inquire about the bigger projects or investing in the fund. So what would be the main difference there?
Yeah, no, great question. So the fund, which is our mothership, I mean that's our consistent daily life, allows investors to purchase shares or units, if you will, in our management company, right? Freedom Venture Management LLC. They invest in shares, and because they invest in shares of the company, those shares are prorated into the value of the real estate that's owned by the company. So they get commercial real estate valuation, tax benefits, leverage against inflation, et cetera. So they're not actually on one specific deal. Now, in a syndicated asset, we find there's a lot less investors in there. It's usually 4 or 5 investors put up the capital. We bring the bank in for the first lien position. Our investors bring the rest of the capital to the table, plus the renovation costs, plus the soft costs, the cost of putting the deal together, et cetera. So that group of investors, we're actually leveraged on one asset rather than owning shares in a management company. So the upside is you're on one asset. The downside is you're on one asset, depending on how you look at it. Right? So it's, you don't get the diversity when you're on one deal, but, when you're consistently in the game, you know what a good deal is. As the operators of the company, we know what to buy and what not to buy. And I'm excited to share this deal with our listeners now, if I can, Nate. This is our deal of the week, and this is a syndicated asset.
Okay.
So this property still meets that smaller unit number. We're not in the 250, 300 unit ballpark. But, we love this smaller area. So as you can see on the slide there, it's 55 units. This one was built in 71. So it's an older asset. So it doesn't fit the buy box for the fund, but it's still a smoking deal. This property was constructed of a concrete block. We call it CBC construction in Florida. It's got new metal roofs on it, and it consists of 6 2-story apartment buildings, about 45,000 square feet of rentable space, sitting on a nice 3.5 acre lot. What's great about this deal, a couple of things. Number one is the unit mix. Okay, it's not like a 1 bed, 1 bath, which is kind of transient. We got a really nice unit mix: 16 1 bed, 1 bath, 23 2 bed, 1 bath, and then the real money is the 16 3 bed, 1 bath units in this complex. On-site laundry, which increases the NOI. We might put some new machines in there. It's Orlando-based. It's near Lake Technical College, under 15 minutes to Advent Health Waterman, close enough to the airport, and it's sitting in a revitalized area. This is I would almost say this is a C+, B- property, but it's sitting in a B+ A- neighborhood. So when you can acquire, a lower classification of property, but it's in a higher classification of neighborhood, that's a value play in and of itself. Repositioning on this property is going to come in at 4.25. So we'll buy this for $4,250,000. So the raise on this is approximately 1.75 million. So that's what we're going to raise. We'll raise that from our syndicated investors who want to come in on this deal with us. We'll invest alongside them as well. So 4.25 to buy it. The rehab on this is surprisingly light. We've allocated $5,000 per unit to turn these units over to increase the valuation. It is. It is. The story behind it is really the value of it. The story behind it is that typical tired landlord. This guy has been so influenced, if you will, by media et cetera, et cetera. He just wants to cash out and go live in the woods.
Yeah.
He's
A lot of people been doing that recently.
Yeah, and this is the way this guy's feeling. So we got $250,000 to do the landscape and the improvements. It's going to give us a rental increase because it's way below rent value for the market as well. So we'll turn these over. It'll probably take 6 to 8 weeks to turn them all over, have them up and running. We got an increased yield on this of $50,100, and in the cap rate that this market is in, gives us an $851,000 extra valuation on top of the 4.25. So we're almost bumping this up to over $5 million in market value when we're done with it. Our investors that want to come in on this deal with us, you've got targeted returns, cash on cash of 11.5, and we'll leverage that up over the whole period to 7.5 targeted. Internal rate of return is very, very robust on this one. We're targeting out at 22.8, almost 23% internal rate of return. And then for the straight math of the equity multiple, which is, for every $1 you put in this deal, we target you getting an additional $1.40 back. Okay. So that's how the multiple works out on it. Anybody who's listening to us, anybody who gets to the website, enter the information in the commentary. Note that you're interested in the syndicated deal. Somebody from the team will reach out to you. We'll go through the subscription process. We'll go through the deal in detail. I anticipate us having a webinar on this deal to present the full packet, if you will, within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
We control it. Nobody else even knows it's existing right now. It's one of our off-market deals. So yeah, that's this is.
I got a question.
Part of the suite. Yeah.
I got a question for you. One is from Paul, but he's saying, is there anything Dave doesn't know? Brilliant stuff. But another thing, question for you. In regards to the syndication of the deal, is there a limited amount of people that can come into one particular type of property, like one property, or?
Yeah, it depends on the operator. So this is a small raise. This is only, like I said, maybe 1.5, 1.7 million. So we could probably subscribe that with 5 investors.
Okay.
If we were in a ballpark where we were looking to buy a $20 million or a $30 million asset, plus raise another $5 million in construction, that takes more retail investors to get to that point. So we don't cap it out, but once it's subscribed, it's subscribed. You missed out on the opportunity.
Yeah. Is there a certain
the only thing? Go ahead.
I was going to ask. I know you got an upcoming webinar on this particular property coming up real soon, and anybody who's interested in that should get over to Freedom Venture, and there's a form there that you can fill out and get information on this. However, is there like a limited time frame where people need to take action on this, or are they looking at like January, the next few weeks? Is there a timeline for that?
No, great question. Great question. When we do the webinar, we anticipate this being subscribed by the end of that day.
Okay.
So, if you're a tire kicker, it's probably not worth your time to get on the webinar. It's not for you. But if you want to invest alongside, the experts, invest with us, accredited investors only, still need to be accredited. And, the minimum investment will probably be 100,000 on this. We're still debating where we want to be with this, but, we got investors who can write a check for $500,000, $1 million, and we might just have one investor take this one out, a gentleman that we're talking with in New York right now. But look, that's a great question because people always do that, don't they, Nate? We've seen it in our careers.
Yeah.
Let me think about it.
Right.
And I'll see. I just got to take care of X, Y, Z.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that's just fear. That's fear robbing them out of an opportunity. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I mean, if someone who's thinking about this kind of stuff, and if they could literally pull out their statement or pull it out or download it, whatever you want to do, but look at your statements from like your Roth or your 401k and any IRA that's been sitting there, any funds that you may have, and literally just compare, the rate of return to the rate of returns that are being given, and that is just something to compare it to and say, okay, which one is better, which one's higher, which one is more secure, maybe you have a little bit more control over, which one is, backed by insurance, So
I
those are the things
I
to
had a
consider.
question.
Hmm.
I had a question a couple of weeks ago, and it was a retiree that was contemplating coming into the fund because it had more of a secure feel to it than an individual deal. We'll leave it at that.
Hmm.
But they were sitting on their retirement, and they believed that they couldn't do anything other than just receive the retirement amounts. And I put them with a professional, and that professional was able to put them in a position where they could take a portion
Yeah.
of the balance of their retirement, if you will, and use that. Like it didn't
Right.
have to be all or nothing.
That's a good
I think
point.
there's a lot of misinformation around that.
That's a good point you bring up. Some people might think they have to, withdraw it all and clean everything out of their 401k or their retirement accounts and to play in the game of real estate, but that's not the case at all. I mean, you could start small and get, start with one project and then work on the next one and grow from there.
Yeah.
I think that's more of a powerful benefit to people when they know they can take that kind of step forward.
Yeah, for sure. Look, we're excited to have these deals come in as well, because we also have the option of then flipping these deals into the fund once we exit out of them.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
It's magic.
Wait. Wait. Okay. All right. Hold on. I just want to let's peel that back for a second. This is just for Nathan's purposes, but anybody else can learn a little lesson here. So you would do, let's take 55 unit property. You would do the exit into the fund, and that fund would hold it. That's genius.
Yeah, we can choose to do that as well. Can you say genius a little bit louder?
It's genius.
Genius. That's a Guinness commercial, isn't it? Genius.
I think it is. Yeah.
Look, you get. You know what's funny, right? I was thinking about this. Real estate has given me the ability to make better choices. Think about that statement for a second, right?
Yeah.
Like even at the operator level, right? As a guy managing a fund like this, real estate gives me choices to serve our investors. Yeah. Some investors say, no, I want to turn my capital quicker. And I can say, okay, well, here's a great choice for you. Look at this one, right? Syndicated deal. Some investors say, no, Dave, just take the capital and let me ride it long-term with you guys. I love you. It's all good. Give me my quarterly distributions.
Yeah.
So real estate has been able to, it's just been able to give me better choices. There's a gentleman in our chat right now, Bobby Serino. And,
you know Bobby?
Yeah, I love Bob. I do. I love him. I miss him. I love him. He was a mentor and a very dear friend to me for many, many years in one of my past careers.
Yeah.
But in that career that I was in back in the grocery store days, my choices were kind of limited, and it's not moral, it's not right or wrong, it's just is, right? Financially, I had different choices than I do today, and I've looked at this year in COVID, and selling real estate has been able to keep me going through the crisis.
Yeah.
The reserves that real estate gave me personally. So, a big part of me is always like, it works for me. I want to scream and shout at people sometimes. Come on!
Right.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of people who have the belief, or they know that real estate is the number one asset class, the most wealth building asset class in the world. Like any wealthy person you think of, they have real estate in some form or fashion. Sometimes they have multiple houses. Sometimes they have maybe they have a chain of restaurants, maybe they have commercial buildings, whatever it may be, they have real estate. Now, that doesn't have to be just for the super rich anymore. Exactly.
Great point.
Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't have to be for the super rich anymore. So it gives people the opportunity who qualify to be in the fund, gives them the opportunity to play that game, to be in the game too, to get started. It's a great launching pad to say, you know what, I want to play that game too. I want to be in commercial real estate. I want to get, I want to have a partner. I don't know what to do, but I want to be involved. And that's the great opportunity that real estate can give people these days, more than ever before.
Yeah, for sure. And what's interesting is I've got a lot of questions have been asked about, Dave, I'm not accredited right now. $100,000 is outside my wheelhouse right now. Is there a cheaper option or a more viable option for me? And with the suite of services, the answer to that is yes. Because now, let's say somebody's sitting on 75,000 in a retirement account, or maybe 50 grand in liquidity somewhere. They can then become a lender. They can lend on some single family assets, and we're able to walk people through some of those transactions as well.
Exactly.
I'm selling a 4-unit up in Maine. Went under contract. It's never sold until you get to the finish line. But we got a private lender on that. She's on it for $250,000. And she's so excited that it's getting sold because now she gets to move her money onto the next project with us, And Jan's a sweetheart. So it's always the choices that are given, right? If there's a will, there's a way. It's that kind of concept. But who you align yourself with is always, always the reality of it,
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Yeah, for sure.
Good stuff, man. This is exciting. Was that the surprise?
That was a surprise.
Oh.
Syndicated deal. So write me a check, big boy. Write me a check. I know you want to play in my sandbox.
That's awesome. That really is fantastic. That's a great add-on. It really is. I love the part where you said you can roll it into the fund. I wouldn't have I didn't even think of that from the beginning. I was like, oh yeah, it's a good point. But that's fantastic. That is great news. That is great news.
Good stuff. Good
awesome.
stuff.
Awesome. Now, we got the holidays coming up. We got the holidays right around the corner. And actually, I think it's next Friday is the 25th. So we're not here.
Big day.
We're not here. We won't be here.
We're not here.
Because we're going to be busy.
We're not here.
We're going to be...
By the way, we're working. We're working. Not like the rest of the world.
That's true.
2 weeks early.
That's true. I mean, I don't understand the whole... I'm tired of all the holidays. And you think like the US has a lot of holidays? It's like Portugal has like 2 times the amount of holidays. It's annoying.
Yeah, the Europeans definitely do.
Oh my goodness.
No more holidays. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do this.
Good stuff. Well, thanks everybody.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Thanks everyone for watching the Cash Flow Show. Good to have you here. We will see you in a few weeks. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. See ya.
See ya.